My phone buzzed just as I was redlining a load rating sheet for the Baxter River Bridge expansion. I ignored it at first, thinking it was one of the junior guys screwing up permit codes again. But the second buzz had that smug rhythm only one person in my life could pull off. Brad. I wiped graphite off my hands, unlocked the screen, and read the message. Hey, just wanted to let you know Tina and I talked it over. We've decided Dad's moving in with us instead. We just don't think your neighborhood is suitable. I stared at the words like they might change if I blinked enough. But nope, the prick actually wrote that. He needs peace, stability. You know, not a 700 square foot box in a developing zip code. Developing. Right. Quick note. Before we start, how's your day going and where are you joining from? I stood up and looked out the front window of my duplex. Across the street, a couple was walking their golden doodle past the new juice cafe. Half the block had Teslas. Sure, it used to be rough here, but that was 5 years ago. Now it was all wine bars and bike lanes. What Brad didn't know, and what made this so damn rich, was that I liked my place. I rebuilt every inch of it myself. New floors, new HVAC, smart lighting. It was small, yeah, but clean and modern, and paid off in full. The next ping hit harder. Dad'll love Pine Hollow, gated cul-de-sac, weekly landscaping, real community. Not some cobbled-together hipster block. That's when it clicked. Pine Hollow Estates, my property. Technically, it was owned by Tran Equity Holdings, LLC. But that's me. Every house on that cul-de-sac, mine. Brad had no idea he'd been sending rent checks to his embarrassing little sister for almost 2 years. I tapped Donald's number. He picked up on the second ring. What's up, boss? Brad and Tina's place, Unit 36. You remember the deck violation? Oh yeah, that mess with the wood stain peeling? Still not fixed. And the pet issue? 2 unregistered dogs. One's a yapper, one's a digger. Got neighbor complaints logged from March. Good, I said, heat rising in my chest. Start eviction proceedings, lease violations, unapproved construction, repeated HOA complaints, and unregistered animals. He whistled low. You sure? I nodded, even though he couldn't see it. Yeah, time they learned who really owns Pine Hollow. Copy that. I'll pull the documents and prep the notice. I hung up, turned back to my blueprints, and grabbed my red pencil. I set my red pencil down and swapped it for a cup of chamomile tea. Steam curled around the rim, drifting over the permit applications I had spread across the counter. It was a good pile. 6 commercial lots on the West End, one I'd been eyeing for 2 years. Grocery chain wanted in. Their offer was solid, but I wanted control of the zoning first. I always stayed 3 moves ahead. My phone lit up again. Brad. If I were you, I'd talk to Tina's friend Kelly. She's a realtor who works with tight budgets, like yours. You'd be surprised what a little humility can buy. I stared at the screen and shook my head. The man couldn't help himself. He still thought I was scraping by because I didn't flaunt anything, didn't lease new cars, didn't do Instagram renovations, didn't care about bragging rights. He didn't know he sat in a business park I bought outright last October. Blocky beige building, generic landscaping, dead fountain out front. He walked through that lobby 5 days a week, grabbing vending machine coffee, never once wondering who made the rules there, or who collected the rent on Suite 205, where he played at being some regional sales guru, and the shop where he got his tires rotated every spring, mine too. I'd bought that strip from a retiring couple in their 70s. 12 properties total, clean titles, everyone profitable, everyone quietly run through Tran Equity. He knew none of it. That was the plan. The next morning, I was reviewing soil reports when Donald texted, "Notice served." 6:50 a.m. He was home. Confirmed receipt. I didn't even have time to respond before my phone lit up again. This time, it rang. Brad. I let it ring twice before answering. Hey, have you heard about this? He snapped. We just got slapped with an eviction notice from the damn HOA. What the hell is going on? I kept my voice calm. Eviction? Really? What happened? They say we violated the lease. Over what? A deck? Our dogs? These are petty complaints. We've lived there over 2 years, and suddenly we're a problem? I sipped my tea. Did you pull the notice? What exactly did it say? He scoffed. Yeah, I read it. Some crap about an unapproved structure and animal nuisance complaints. It's all exaggerated. This is obviously a targeting situation. You think the HOA's targeting you? Someone clearly has it out for us. We've never missed a rent payment. And now we're being treated like squatters? Did you get permission for the deck? It's a minor upgrade, he snapped. And Tina's dogs are perfectly behaved. This is nitpicking. I paused like I was thinking it over. Did you ever submit those dog registration forms? That's usually required for HO as I didn't think we needed to. Everyone knows we have them. They don't bark at night or anything. I leaned against the counter. Still, if the rules say you have to register them. He cut me off. Come on, Megan. This is ridiculous. We've been good tenants. The HOA should be working with us, not throwing threats around. Well, you signed the lease, right? And the HOA agreement? Yeah, but no one follows that stuff to the letter. Apparently someone does. He went silent for a second. Then his tone shifted. A little more desperate, a little more calculated. You know anyone in city development? Maybe you could reach out, help us out a bit. I don't know, I said slowly. If there are official complaints, I'm not sure what anyone could do. Doesn't this all come down to the lease terms? He exhaled hard through his nose. This is such bullshit. I make twice what you do, and somehow you have the freedom to live however you want, and we're the ones getting booted? I smiled, but he couldn't see it. Yeah, life's funny that way. Brad's voice came back sharper, louder. Megan, I'm serious. You have to know someone in city development. This whole thing is insane. They're treating us like criminals over a damn dog in a patio. I didn't respond right away. I could hear papers rustling on his end, like he was pacing or flipping through the notice again. Tina's been crying since 7 this morning, he added. She hasn't stopped. And now Dad's stressing about where he's gonna go, because we just told him he was moving in next month. You know how he gets when things change suddenly? I kept my voice steady. I get it's stressful. But if the HOA found violations, oh, come on, he cut in. You're seriously taking their side? I'm not taking sides. I'm saying you signed a lease and HOA agreement. If there are rules, there's stupid rules. That deck isn't bothering anyone. We even had it stained to match the rest of the neighborhood. I shifted my phone to speaker and set it on the counter. Did you get a permit for it? We didn't need a permit. It's a damn rectangle of wood. This is what I mean. You don't get how the real world works. You've been in your little construction safety job so long. You forgot how actual success operates. I raised my eyebrows. Is that so? Yeah, he said, voice rising. I manage 6 teams across 3 regions. I sit in strategy meetings with people who run 8-figure budgets. I make double what you make, and still, somehow, I'm the one getting tossed out like garbage. I stayed quiet for a beat, then said, So, what do you want me to do? Call someone. I don't care who. Friend in housing, city code enforcement, whoever. Pull a favor. I took a long sip of my now cold tea. I might know someone who can take a look at it. Thank you, he said, finally backing off. Seriously, just let me know what they say. We don't need this right now. I nodded like he could see me. I'll make a few calls. He hung up before I could fake another line of sympathy. I dialed Donald immediately. He picked up mid-laugh. Let me guess. Panic? He's spiraling, I said. We're setting up a meeting. HOA office, Pine Hollow, 2 p.m. today. Both of them? Yeah. Tell them it's a discussion with ownership about possible remedies before legal escalation. Donald let out a low whistle. Should I tell them who they're meeting? Absolutely not. Make it sound formal. Dry. Keep it vague. Just make sure they show up. Copy that. I'll have the boardroom prepped. Appreciate it. I ended the call and leaned on the counter, looking out the window. A moving truck pulled up across the street. Some new couple unloading furniture. A man in gym shorts waved as he hauled a rug inside. I waved back, lips tight. Brad had no clue what was waiting for him at that table, and I wasn't about to spoil the surprise. I pulled into Pine Hollow Estates at 1:48 p.m. sharp, parked beside the HOA office, and killed the engine. Navy slacks, black blazer, low heels, hair up, clean makeup, gold watch, no tool belt, no coffee-stained hoodie, no trace of the little sister they thought they knew. I walked into the boardroom at exactly 2 o'clock. Brad and Tina were already there. They jumped when I opened the door. He was in khakis and a tucked-in button-down, fake confidence all over his face. Tina wore a pastel wrap dress, clutching a manila folder like it held her entire life. They stood up like it was a job interview. Brad blinked. What are you doing here? I closed the door behind me. Good afternoon. I'm Megan Tran, principal of Tran Equity Properties and majority owner of this HOA. Dead silence. Brad looked at Tina. Tina looked back at him. Then she squinted at me like I was speaking another language. I'm sorry. What? Tina asked. I stepped forward, set my binder on the table, and took the seat at the head. Let's start with the basics. You received a violation notice this morning, which is a formal step toward eviction based on 3 separate issues. Today's meeting is an opportunity to address those before we proceed with legal filing. Brad just stared at me. Is this some kind of joke? Not even a little? You're telling me you own Pine Hollow? This development? I flipped open the binder. Bought it 3 years ago through Tran Equity Holdings. Fully acquired the HOA 2 months later. Tina sank into her chair. Wait, you said your last name's Tran. My full legal name is Megan Tran. Been using it professionally for over a decade. Brad's mouth opened, but no words came out. His eyes darted to the folder in front of him, then back to me. Hold on. Were you the reference on our rental app? Yes, that's how you got approved. Your credit didn't meet threshold. Tina didn't have income history, but you got cleared because your personal reference vouched for your stability. Tina opened their lease and started flipping pages like she might find a different name on the signature line. All our rent payments, they went to Tran Equity. That's me. Brad finally sat down, slowly. You've been our landlord this whole time. I nodded. And you just, what? Pretended you weren't? I didn't pretend anything. You never asked. Tina whispered. Oh my God. I pulled a printout from the binder and slid it across the table. These are the HOA violation reports. First complaint was submitted in February. Barking, digging, damage to a shared fence. Second report came in April. Same issues, different neighbor. Tina skimmed it with shaking hands. We never got any formal warning. You did. 3 notices, email and physical, ignored all of them. Brad leaned forward, defensive again. This is a power move, isn't it? Because we didn't ask Dad to live with you? This is punishment. I met his eyes. This is business. You violated the lease and ignored 3 months of HOA contact. We'd be having this conversation no matter who lived there. But it's us, he snapped. Your family. I shrugged. Didn't matter to you when you sent that text about my shameful neighborhood. He shut his mouth. I pulled out another document. And this is the unapproved construction report. Your deck, built without city permits. Material left on HOA common space for 3 days. Stain runoff onto the neighbor's retaining wall. Tina looked horrified. I didn't know that happened. Brad gritted his teeth. Why didn't you just call me? Because tenants deal with property management, not ownership, that's standard. So you've been sitting behind the curtain this whole time, he said bitterly, letting us pay you rent like idiots. Like tenants, I said. You signed a lease. You live in an HOA community. These are the rules you agreed to. He looked at Tina, who was now flipping through their lease like she was trying to find an escape clause. I let the silence stretch before saying, You're not the only residents with complaints on file, but you are the only ones with multiple violations, unapproved modifications, and unregistered pets. Tina whispered, Our rent's never been late? That's true, I said. And that's why we're here. This meeting is your opportunity to respond. Not in court, not through legal counsel. Just here, with me. Brad shook his head slowly, like he still couldn't believe it. Unreal. I leaned back. You have one chance to propose a resolution. Otherwise, this moves forward the usual way. Tina straightened in her chair, clutching the HOA reports like she might rip them in half. Okay, look, the dog stuff is overblown. Our lab's old. He sleeps most of the day. Maybe he barked at a delivery guy or something, but he's harmless. I slid a stack of printed emails across the table. These are written complaints from 3 different neighbors. Dates, times, and incident details. One says your dog dug up their rose bed. Twice. Brad snatched the papers, eyes scanning fast. That's not even... Okay, maybe that happened once. But this feels targeted. Like people are nitpicking just because we didn't register the pets. And the deck? I asked, flipping open a manila folder. You're calling that a lifestyle upgrade? Tina nodded quickly. It's not even that big. Brad built it himself. It's not like we hired contractors. It just made the backyard more usable. I held up 2 photos. This is the view from the neighbor's 2nd-story window. It extends 3 feet past what's allowed by Pine Hollow design guidelines. And here, I held up another page. is the report from the city's permit office. No application filed, no inspection. Brad's face was flushed now. Okay, fine. We should have asked. But this doesn't have to go nuclear. What if we pay back pet fees and register the dogs today? I'll take the deck down this weekend. Seriously, we'll fix it. I shook my head. These aren't new violations, Brad. The complaint started 7 months ago. Notices went ignored. Then you added a structure without permission. This isn't fixable with a Band-Aid. But you didn't even tell us, he snapped. You just sat behind the scenes watching this happen. I told you, I said, keeping my voice level. Tenants deal with management. You weren't singled out. You were just careless. His voice cracked then. Megan, come on, this is us. Me. Don't do this. Tina reached across the table, voice low and shaky. Please. We've got Dad counting on us. He's fragile. He just buried Mom. If we have to move again, it'll crush him. I looked at both of them. Brad looked smaller now. Not in size. Just stripped of that smug shine he always walked around with. I'm not pressing damages, I said. No legal fees, no retroactive fines. But the eviction stands. You'll have 30 days. Brad's jaw clenched. You're really going through with it. I hold every tenant to the same standard. You don't get a pass because we share blood. You're kicking your own brother out of his house. It's not your house, I said. It's mine. He didn't respond. Just sat there, hands on his knees, like he was trying to keep from exploding or falling apart. Tina finally asked, voice soft, So what happens next? I'll give you a clean exit. You'll get the formal move-out instructions tomorrow. Keys back by the deadline. No judgment on the record. And that's it? Brad asked. After everything? That's it, I said. You're lucky I'm being generous. Tina sat quiet for a second, chewing her bottom lip. Then she looked at me, voice low. Is there any way we can... is there a chance we could stay? Just not in that house? I closed the binder. Not in Pine Hollow, but I have a place that might actually suit you better. Brad looked up fast. What does that mean? I own a duplex over in Parkland Ridge, I said. 1,500 square feet, 2-story, backyard, privacy fencing. Dogs are allowed. It's well kept, quiet, and near the medical plaza Dad goes to. Tina perked up. Wait, really? That sounds... Brad cut her off. Parkland Ridge? That's a step down. I leaned back. It's a step into reality. You want to talk comfort? The unit's got a private entrance, newer appliances, bigger bedrooms, and it's easier to maintain. You'd save about 40% on rent and utilities combined. He laughed under his breath. You're trying to push us into some B-tier setup so you can feel like you came out on top. No, I said. I'm offering a place that actually fits your life. A place where you don't have to pretend you're in some elite tax bracket. Tina glanced over at him. It sounds fine to me. Honestly, more space and a backyard without HOA headaches might be worth it. Brad looked like she'd slapped him. Tina, come on, Parkland Ridge? That's not even in the same class. Class, I repeated. You're seriously still worried about appearances? I've worked hard to be where we are. And where are you, I asked. Drowning in upgrades you didn't get approved for? Living check to check while trying to act like you belong in a gated fantasy? He scowled but didn't argue. I kept going. This isn't about success, Brad. It's about stability. Something you say Dad needs, but you're too busy playing HOA king to deliver. Tina shifted in her seat. Is it a safe neighborhood? It's where I'd live if I had a family, I said. Parks, community gardens, quiet streets. Better long-term than Pine Hollow. Brad shook his head. I'd rather figure something else out. Tina didn't look at him. I want to see it. You can, I said. It's empty and move-in ready. I'll give you first right, but I won't hold it, and you'll still need to move out of Pine Hollow by the 30-day mark. Brad crossed his arms. You really think this is fair? I think this is generous? He muttered something under his breath, but Tina was already pulling out her phone. Can you send me the address? Tina was already tapping notes into her phone when I leaned forward and laid it out. You're paying almost $2,300 a month at Pine Hollow. Add utilities, lawn service, pet fees, insurance, you're pushing $3,000 every month. Brad scoffed. Yeah, because that's what decent living costs now. No, I said. It's what posturing costs. The Parkland Ridge duplex, $1,400 a month, lawn included, lower heating bill, no HOA fees, and no one reporting your dogs for stepping off a sidewalk. He opened his mouth, but I kept going. You're burning money to maintain an image you can't afford. Meanwhile, I drive a used Tacoma, live in a 700 square foot duplex, and own 12 properties you didn't even know existed. Brad glared at me like I'd kicked him in the gut. You think I'm some clown pretending to be successful? I think you care more about looking successful than being stable. He shoved his chair back and stood. You've always resented me. This is just payback. I looked up at him, calm as ever. I stopped needing your approval the day I bought my first lot. This isn't about resentment, it's about respect. Tina looked between us. Wait, you own 12 properties? Commercial and residential, across 3 counties. She blinked. You've been doing all this while living like that? That, I said, is how I did it. She leaned back, stunned. We misjudged you. I just thought. I know what you thought, I said. You both made it pretty clear. I was the poor one, the one who never grew up right. But I built something real, quietly, on purpose. Brad's face was tight, his jaw clenched. I looked at both of them. I'm giving you one option. Parkland Ridge, under a clean lease, standard terms. Or you figure it out yourself by the deadline. Tina looked at Brad. It's a good offer. He didn't look back at her, just stared at me, bitter as hell. That night, just after 9, my phone lit up with a text from Tina. We love the duplex. Backyard is perfect for Dad. Can we move in next weekend? I replied without hesitation. Lease will be ready by Friday. It was quiet for about 20 minutes. Then Brad's name popped up on my screen. Hey, I was out of line. I know that. Thanks for not throwing us out cold. Think maybe someday you could show me how all this real estate stuff works? I stared at the message for a second, then typed, I'll teach you. But only if you're ready to listen without ego. That's non-negotiable. Fair, he replied. Later that week, I took a walk through Parkland Ridge on my way to meet the cleaning crew at the duplex. Evening sun, warm breeze, kids on scooters flying down the sidewalks. An older couple watered tomato plants in the community garden lot. A group of dads were standing around a grill at the corner house, beer in hand, laughing about something. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't branded, but it felt like a place you could breathe. I reached the duplex and stood out front for a minute, just watching the light hit the roofline. Solid construction, good bones, clean lines, room to grow. Everything Brad said he wanted for Dad, it was all here. And for the first time in years, I didn't care if he saw it or admitted it. I didn't need his approval. Hell, I barely needed his thanks. I'd spent half my adult life dragging his voice around in my head. Every sideways comment, every smug jab, every time he looked at my life like it was something temporary or second-rate. That part of me was done. 6 months later, they were still at Parkland Ridge, quietly, without drama. Their lease renewals came in on time. No complaints, no violations. The backyard got reseeded, and Tina even planted some lavender near the patio. Their dad? He was thriving. I saw him once at the little corner farmer's market, laughing with 2 other retirees over peaches. Looked 10 years younger. He waved, didn't ask questions, just smiled like he belonged. Brad had changed too, at least on the surface. The texts came in now and then. What's your take on cash flow properties in mixed-use zones? Do you use a separate account for CapEx or just roll it into reserves? You still like that CPA you mentioned last month? I answered when I felt like it. Gave him what he could handle. No lectures, no power plays. The tone of his messages had shifted. Less ego, more curiosity. He still had opinions, but they weren't barbed. And he never brought up Pine Hollow. Not once. Truth was, I didn't need him to. Tina sent the occasional update. Photos of their dad at a community cookout. A thank you when I sent over the maintenance crew after a storm. She never said the words, but I knew she saw it now. What I'd built. What I'd been building all along. Setting boundaries didn't burn the bridge. It made it load-bearing. That was the lesson I hadn't figured out until recently. Family works better when you stop trying to rescue people and start treating them like grown adults. I didn't owe them comfort. I gave them options, and they took one. I checked my phone while waiting in line at a building supply shop. Another text from Brad. Thinking of buying a duplex next year. Mind looking at the numbers? He was trying, one step at a time. 1. But I still hadn't told him about the business park, his office, the one I bought out just before interest rates jumped. He walked through the front doors of my property 5 days a week, still clueless. And I was in no rush to change that. I smiled to myself, one lesson at a time.